Hello, everyone in the Click community coming to check this out. I appreciate it and thank you for taking the time to take a look at this. What I'm going to do today is share with you. I woke up this morning and the clouds were amazing. When I looked out the window and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to get this sunrise. Um, these clouds up here were way more pillowy by the time I got some warm, a little bit warmer clothes in my drone around. They had kind of raised and not been so pillowy. You can see these were a little more hangy, but anyway, I still caught something really great. So these were taken indeed with my drone. I have a um, Mavic 2 Pro, and I put it up real quick and got a series of shots of my neighbor's house and was able to, get a pretty nice variety and width of the horizon and scenery. So what I want to do, I did edit those already. As I click through them, you can see I shot at a pretty narrow f-stop so I could get the sunburst, which I think is awesome and really turned out really great. So anyway, I am going to take these 4 photos and merge them because I want to get more of a panoramic. I want to get more of the horizon across, more of this little body of water behind our house, a little lake. And so in order to do that, I'm going to highlight the photos that I want and go up to the toolbar and go to Photo Merge, Panorama. So it's going to work for a second and they all come together. So you see these weird white areas and stuff of where the photo just doesn't cover. And so you take this little arrow thingy and it's called boundary warp. And I just slide it all the way to the side. And what that does is fill in all the gaps very nicely. So let's do that. I'm happy. And I'm hit merge down at the bottom. And it's going to take a second. And it'll show up here in a second. And let's see. Not yet. Okay. And I believe here it is. Let's see what we got. So yeah, that's the Pano. You see right here down at the bottom, Pano DNG. And as we look at it, it looks pretty good. But if you notice where this came and merged over here, there's a little bit of wonky part right here. And my horizon kind of goes weird this way. So what I'm going to do and what I want to show you is I want to take it into Photoshop. And there's a tool in there that will help me get that straightened out and more realistic looking. So let's take, in order to do that, the photo is highlighted and we're going to go up into Photo, Edit in Adobe Photoshop. So it's going to open up Photoshop for me and go in a second. It's working. And then there we have it. Well, it's still spinning. It's still working. And it opens up in a window for us to work on in a workspace. So the first thing I always do is make a copy on a new layer. And I do that by hitting Control J. And you'll see over here, here's what we imported or we brought over from Lightroom. And then I made a new layer because I don't want to work on it directly in case I screwed up. I'd have to bring it back in. So what I want to do here in order to fix this is go up here to Edit, Transform. And then I want to go over and down to warp. That's going to put in, if you can see, around the perimeter of the image, there are these little points. I can grab those points, or pretty much anywhere on the photo, and I can move the photo. See, I can get really weird. I can change things around. We can get super funky, right? So this is about where it started. So what I want to do is bring this bit of the horizon where you see this, because over here it's nice and flat. There's a bit of a dip. I think that's just the topography of some of the trees, and it's not completely flat down here in the Louisville area. But this over here, I think, is just noticeably wonky. You can see a little ridge right there where they came together in the merging. So what I want to do is bring this down and as naturally as I possibly can. And you can click anywhere in the photo and it will bring it down. So you want to be mindful of what you're doing with the rest of the photo. You don't want to distort things so badly that everything else becomes unrealistic, right? So I think we will do this in a way that we can check and see and make sure we're not doing anything too drastic. Is we can come over here into the crop tool and we get a level, right? And we can start from one side to the other, and that's pretty close. It's at 0, it's straight, and it just had to move ever so slightly, right? So, okay, I don't want to crop that. So, and we were quite straight. So I am just going to get out of, I don't want to crop it. Let's get out of there. Let's go back to that. And so I'm pretty happy with how that worked. You see in our history, we did our warp. That's where we are. The crop didn't happen. And there's where we are. So what I want to do now, I'm done in Photoshop. I'm going to do the rest of my editing in Lightroom. So I'm going to take this back into Lightroom. And here it is. And as you can see, that little bit of a ridge right there is still there. So I'm going to use the heal tool and just take that and see, that's too weird. It's on heal, not clone. So that did a pretty good job getting rid of that absolute little chunky ridge, which was right here. So I think that looks pretty good. No one would ever know. There's a little bit of weirdness in the line right there, which I'm going to take and do a little bit there, and that's pretty good. I think we got rid of that. Okay. So anyway, I think I'm super happy with that. I am going to, down here, the fountain wasn't on this morning, so I want to get rid of that little fountain, little nub thing, and I am going to bring up the shadows a little bit, brighten it, so it looks a little more daylighty. But other than that, I like it really well, and I think it turned out great. So that is a merge of 4 photos in Lightroom, and we took it into Photoshop and used the edit, transform, warp, changed and made that line a little more realistic because in the merge it got a little wonky. Brought it back into Lightroom, and you can continue to do any more of global edits, jazz up the sky a little bit, really define these shadows and the highlights, play with the color. But there you have it. Hopefully that was helpful. And thanks again for watching.